What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome back to another video at Axe Entertainment. I'm your host, Zach Axe, bringing you my full review and ranking of all 6 matches at NXT Battleground 2025. Now, coming just a day after Saturday night's main event, I was super excited for this pay-per-view because I thought they were definitely going to show up WWE's main roster, and they definitely did here. And I want to talk about all 6 of these phenomenal matches. Now, not every match was perfect, and none of the matches were bad. So it was really hard to kind of rank these because every single match had something to enjoy, whether I was excited for it, whether I was not excited for it. It had something to enjoy about it. And that's just why NXT is so good, is because even when a match feels like it shouldn't be good, they still find a way to make it good. So let's go ahead and rank them. Let me just say, like I said a second ago, just because a match comes at number 6 does not mean that it's, bad. And just because a match comes at number 1 doesn't mean it's perfect. It's just my personal preference, and if you have a different preference, let me know in the comments. Let's get into it. Coming in at number 6, we have Shawn Spears' group, The Culling, taking on the tag team champions Hank, Tank, and Josh Briggs. This was definitely the match I was least excited for on this pay-per-view, but it definitely still, like I said, had some things to enjoy. We had the suicide dives from Hank and Tank while Josh Briggs jumped to the other side to take out Shawn Spears, and then, they hit Brooks and Nico. This match felt a little bit like slower paced for a 3-on-3 near the beginning, but as we went on into the match, it got a little faster paced. It picked up and definitely saw some bigger spots going on. There was a couple mess ups, a couple low chemistry moments. I felt like, especially between Josh Briggs and Hank and Tank. It kind of felt like a lot of the times Briggs forgot whose team he was on, or he kind of just missed a cue or something. Josh Briggs was messing up a little bit, but I don't take anything away from the match because of that. It's just a little bit of chemistry that just felt like it was missing there between that team. And then we also had a huge botch, a huge mess up from the referee. I guess you can't really call it the referee's problem. See, it's very undecided between wrestling fans whose fault it is if a ref doesn't count, because on one hand, the superstars are the reason the ref didn't count 3 if they're not able to either break up the pin or kick out. But some people also blame the ref for not going ahead and counting, because that's what refs are trained to do, is just count the pinfall, and if they don't kick out, that's their fault. Well, we had one of those moments. I believe Nico was pinning, was it Tank, I think? And Hank was supposed to get in and break the pinfall, so Tank wasn't kicking out. But Hank did not reach there in time. It was definitely 3, but the ref, did not hit 3, waited a second, and then Hank came in and broke up the pinfall. So that definitely took some away from the match, because the match should have been over right there. The Culling should have won right there, but obviously they were not supposed to win. So we had to kind of improvise, and the ref just didn't hit 3. Which, that would have been a lackluster way to end the match, but on the other hand, the referee's supposed to count 3, so... Then at the end of the match, we saw I don't know if you can call it a return, he was only gone for like a week, but I'm going to read it because I always I try to say it in weekly awards and I mess it up. Yoshiki Inamura, I can say Inamura. Inamura was supposed to be in Japan. Apparently he was leaving his team with Josh Briggs to go to Japan and go back to Noah, but apparently he never left, and he's coming right back, which is good because I love this odd couple tag team between Josh Briggs and Inamura. And I just said I could say it and then I messed it up right after. Inamura. And I really like this tag team, and I think that they can definitely go further. So when they said that he was leaving, going back to Japan, I was kind of upset, but it looks like that was a hoax. He's back, and that's great for the tag division, because this tag division needs bodies, and it felt like they were just breaking up teams or sending teams away left and right. And now hopefully we have another team that's going to be stable in the tag division, because we know they need it more than ever right now with Fraxian being gone. And you really don't have any huge names challenging for the tag titles, which is why we, of course, had a 3-on-3 here instead of a tag team title match. But hopefully we get some more challengers coming soon. Hopefully Dark State steps up their game. Hopefully maybe even Nico and Brooks can get a tag team title opportunity in the future, and we just continue to build this NXT Tag Team Championship division up from the ground. Coming in at number 5 was a match that I did not want to put this low, but I kind of had to, and that is the Don Tony D'Angelo taking on Channing Stacks Lorenzo. Now, this match was probably the best storytelling match on the whole night, maybe losing out to Trick Williams versus Joe Hendry in the storytelling aspect, but I don't know. I think this had the best storytelling because it had an actual story to go off of the back of, with the whole Familia situation. And this match, just on one hand, it was a really hard-hitting match with a lot of, suplexes, a lot of big moves. We had a drop kick onto D'Angelo while he was on the ropes, and we had that whole thing where they're trying to do the stomp, push their head on the ropes, kind of like, symbolizing the curb stomp, putting your head on the ropes and then kicking it like you would with a sidewalk. And that was a little weird. I feel like they went for it a little too many times. They went for like 5 times in this match. And sometimes the match did feel a little sluggish, or it felt like they were kind of pulling their punches, especially with Tony D'Angelo, who's supposed to be the big bad Don of NXT, but he's pulling his punches. So I think hopefully this is going to set up for a big main event push for Stacks. I think Stacks is definitely good enough to be in the main event. He has an interesting character, the underboss, and now he's overthrowing the Don. He just beat the Don in a match. So hopefully this sets up for maybe Stacks to take the Don position away from Tony D'Angelo. I'd love to see that going forward. But this match was very entertaining. I loved it. The storytelling was definitely the best part of the match. And there was also some big moves. I feel like Tony D'Angelo is just full of big moves. Like, his whole moveset is just signatures or finishers. But we saw a lot of great moves get hit in this match, a lot of great storytelling. I wish I could put it higher, but the other matches on the card were just overall better in the ring. Coming at number 4, we have the NXT Championship match between the champion Obafemi and the challenger Miles Bourne. Now, this is a match I was really excited for because very so often do you get to see a kind of mid-carder move up and challenge for a big title, especially on NXT, and it felt like they were trying to take a mid-carder and make him a main event player. And I think this match succeeded in making Miles Bourne a bona fide main eventer. I think holding your own against Obafemi in a one-on-one immediately makes you a main eventer because Obafemi is, a destroyer, the ruler in the ring. So being able to hold, I wouldn't say at the beginning he definitely wasn't able to hold his own. He was getting thrown around, and that was kind of the pace. We had a good David and Goliath story where Goliath, being Obafemi, just taking out David the entire match, just kicking him down, hitting big move after big move, but he couldn't keep Miles Bourne down, and Miles Bourne kept getting back up. A lot of drop kicks, I will say that. There was a ton of drop kicks in this match from Miles Bourne, and I think Miles Bourne maybe needs to just expand his moveset a little bit because we just saw a lot of the same moves being done over and over again. But I think Miles Bourne is definitely getting there, and I hope that he gets to stay in the main event scene. He deserves to be in the main event scene, and I think hopefully this will lead into a feud with Charlie Dempsey. So I'm really excited to see where this goes. I don't think this will lead into another match. It kind of looked like Obafemi got the decisive win, so I think we're going to lead into different things for both guys. Like I said, hopefully we have a match between Charlie Dempsey and Miles Bourne going forward, maybe to break up the, I couldn't say it in weekly awards, no quarter catch crew, breaking up that group. The match overall, we had a really good suicide dive too. I meant to mention that, a really good suicide dive from Miles Bourne that was picture perfect, and it took multiple finishers to put him down. I'm glad they did that because it makes Miles Bourne seem like a big deal that it took multiple of the Obafemi's powerbombs to keep him down, because I think he ended up hitting 3 or 4 powerbombs in this match to keep Miles Bourne down. And I'm really excited to see the next feud we get for Obafemi. It's looking like it's going to be the winner of LFG. We're going to push him right away, which if you watch my weekly awards, you know how I feel about the LFG guys. But maybe Jasper Troy can prove me wrong, and him and Obafemi can go put on a 5-star match. Now, I would say those 3 were fairly easy to rank, down in 4 through 6. But the top 3 for me took a long time to finally decide where I was going to put them. And it ended with number 3 being the TNA Championship main event match between Joe Hendry, the champion, and Trick Williams, the challenger. Now, the dynamic of this match was a W from the beginning. We had an NXT guy, a contracted WWE guy, trying to take the TNA, a completely different company's world championship, away from a TNA contracted guy in Joe Hendry. So this feud was always destined to be great. I think it really helped that they were another set of champions, because we've seen kind of champion versus champion happen quite a bit in NXT, and we've seen these big, moments between NXT wrestlers challenge for TNA titles and TNA wrestlers challenging for NXT titles. And if you watch my weekly awards, I know I mentioned it like 4 times, go check it out. If you watch my weekly awards, you know that I said that we'll probably never see a contracted TNA guy win a WWE title or vice versa, but they pulled the trigger. With the TNA president sitting ringside, they gave Trick Williams the TNA World Championship, and obviously we know he was in on it, he knew it was going to happen, but it was a crazy dynamic of both of them just trying to prove that the other one is this, the other one's that, you know, you're a sidekick versus you're an average Joe. And both of them proved that they are definitely worthy of the main event spot. Definitely wasn't the best match on the card, but overall hype for the match definitely put it at the main event. And I feel like this sets up a couple different things because one, we have a TNA guy getting the main event of an NXT pay-per-view. We've already seen Charlie Dempsey being mad about it backstage, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of other guys mad about it, which I think is going to be a great way to set up different TNA feuds. And at the same time, this gives a completely unknown look into what can happen when, you know, a guy from the other company comes and wins. Getting back to the match, though, I do want to talk about a couple other things. We had a lot of nods to legends in this match. We had Joe Hendry. I think at one point he went for the attitude adjustment, didn't hit it. But, of course, a nod to John Cena. We had a nod to The Rock with a rock bottom through a table. We had a nod to Booker T with the Harlem sidekicks and the axe kick and the bookend from Trick Williams. And we also had a nod to, who's the other one? There's one more. Oh, we had a nod, I guess you could say, to Mark Henry with the Mark Henry spot where, you know, you catch someone's crossbody, roll through, pick him up. We had a lot of nods to legends in this match, and I think that just added to the great match that they put in front of us. And then we had the shock ending with Trick Williams trying to cheat, and then he technically cheats in front of the ref because instead of hitting the other guy with the title, he hit the title with the other guy and then hit his finisher after that. And they did it. They shocked everybody. Putting it in the main event spot kind of made me think they're probably going to do it if they have it in the main event spot over, you know, the NXT women's title and the NXT title, that, you know, this might be the big shock. And it was the big shock. Trick Williams is TNA World Champion, and I'm excited to see where we go from here. At number 2, we have the match that actually opened NXT Battleground between the North American Women's Champion Sol Ruca defending against Kalani Jordan. Now, this match came out swinging. I was not particularly excited for this match, but I know how good both the women in this match are. So at the same time, I was excited to see what they could do. And they came out and they took no breaks. There wasn't a single break in this match. There's not like a gap of 5 seconds. I think you can look at any part of this match and be like, there's nothing happening. There's something happening at every second. Starting with the great opening sequence where we had multiple, you know, dodges, multiple arm drags. We had a sick flip over Kalani Jordan doing the splits, and then a sick flip over her with Sol Ruca. And there was a lot of great counters in that opening. Just like the opening 5 minutes is crazy with counters and sequences, and it's just their like chemistry was meshing so well together. And then Sol Ruca pulled out some absolutely insane offense in this match. We had an X Factor from the top rope, from both of them on the top rope, coming down into an X Factor. That move was amazing. We also had a Poison Rana countered into a backflip moonsault off the top rope, and she landed it. Sol Ruca landed a Poison Rana off the top, kind of Will Ospreay like. That was a great moment. And we also had the finish, which usually we see the Soul Snatcher from the second rope. She hit a top rope Soul Snatcher, got some air on that move too, which is insane because that move is so hard to even fathom how it even happens. The only thing I don't like about that move is the setup, you know, how you have to have your opponent perfectly there for it to hit it, but Kalani made it look good. Kalani had some good offense in this match too. I know I'm kind of glazing Sol Ruca right now, but Kalani Jordan had some great offense. She had her kicks, she had her, you know, her great moves, and both women honestly looked great. I think Sol Ruca looked better in the end, and I'm glad she was able to pick up a retain over Kalani Jordan here, especially with how good she looked in the match. But I think this just raised both women's stock overall, and I'm glad to say that this is a pay-per-view that the women carried Out of the number 2 spot, we have a women's match. And at the number 1 spot, we have a women's match, which you would never see in WWE 5, maybe like 10 years ago. And we have the women just showing up and showing out at number 2. And then also at number 1, we have Stephanie Vauquer taking on... Oh, that was such a good transition, I messed it up. Number 1, we have the NXT Women's Champion Stephanie Vauquer taking on the Juggernaut Jordynne Grace. This match, I really went back and forth on if I was going to put Solruka and Kalani Jordan here or this match. And I went with this match, I think, more of for the big fight feel. Because this match felt important, it felt big. Because you have Jordynne Grace, a woman that has shown her dominance, especially in TNA. She was the world champion over there for quite a while. And she comes over to NXT, and now she's contractually obligated to WWE. So there's always that chance that she actually does win, which we didn't really feel back when she was just kind of guest starring from TNA, which I know with the main event you can't really say that anymore, but at the time we kind of knew that she was not going to win the NXT Women's title. Now that she's contractually obligated here, there was always that chance, and this match just delivered on so many different aspects. It was just such a good match overall. Honestly, I feel like if Trick Williams didn't win the TNA World Championship, this match should have been the main event. We had some crazy spots. We had Jordynne Grace going head first into the barricade. That looked painful as hell. I don't know how she wasn't bleeding or anything after that. Like, she Irish whipped her into that barricade and she went head first. And I was like, did I see that right? And they played the replay, and yep, she went head first through that thing. That had to have hurt. We also had the tombstone stance switches. I thought that was pretty cool, like the athleticism and power being able to display between these women with, one had them up for the tombstone and then we kind of flipped, and we did that I think 2 or 3 times before we end up finally being a reversal out of it. I wish we could have seen a move out of the tombstone stance, but just the raw power and athleticism that these 2 women have to be able to do that was insane. We also have Vic Joseph with a little WTF moment in this match when Stephanie Vauquer went to the top rope at one point. He said, "We don't see Stephanie Vauquer leave her feet very often." And Vic Joseph also earlier in this match had said, "I've been watching Stephanie Vauquer since she got here in NXT." Obviously you have not, because Stephanie Vauquer leaves her feet every match. Every match she's on the top rope. Every match she's hitting a springboard. Every match she's doing something high flying. And she's like, yeah, we don't see Stephanie Vauquer leave her feet. Yes, she does. She always leaves her feet. Her whole finisher used to be the spinal tap. And she also did a springboard crossbody in this match. So just the fact that Vic Joseph said that, I was kind of chuckling to myself like, yeah, okay, we've seen her leave her feet like 3 times in this match, but we don't see it very often, do we? But then, speaking of the Spinal Tap, we saw a Spinal Tap to finish the match. Not really a Spinal Tap, because Spinal Tap usually starts facing your opponent. This one started backwards, and then she landed it on her stomach instead of her back. So I don't know if I want to call it a Spinal Tap, because I keep saying spinal. Spiral Tap. I've been saying spinal for like 5 minutes now. Spiral Tap. But she landed it, so this was kind of a cool move. I think this is going to be kind of one of those, oh, I can't finish you with this move, well, I'm going to pull out my big move off the top rope, and I'm okay with that she had to reach into her bag of tricks and pull out that big move that finished the match. Because personally, I don't like the backbreaker, the package backbreaker. I personally don't like it as a finisher, and I think that this is a way cooler finisher. But if we're going to save it for special occasions, that's also cool as hell, because I like having that big move that if you see it, you know the match is important, you know that they have to pull out that big move to be able to beat their opponent. And it honestly made Jordynne Grace look even better, because we have to see Stephanie Vauquer pull out a move we don't see her do very often in order to beat Jordynne Grace. And this match just made Jordynne Grace look even better than she already did. Stephanie Vauquer is bona fide one of the best women. Bona fide, definitely. I'm very tired, I apologize. Stephanie Vauquer is one of the best women's wrestlers they have on the entire WWE roster, and I'm glad her reign continues. At the same time, I did kind of think she might be losing it, so she could go join Roxanne Perez and Julia on the main roster, but that's not the case. She won't be losing it yet, and it looks like we're going to use her being champion to propel the other AAA women that have been acquired with the purchase of AAA into the WWE. I personally, I apologize, but I did not know who they were talking about, who was on the outside. I'm not familiar with their game. Hopefully they come over to NXT and impress me. But I'm excited to see Stephanie Valkyria going a bunch of different ways, and then we had the big brawl in the afterwards too. But honestly, it doesn't matter what Stephanie Valkyria does. She's always going to be entertaining, and she just shows it with another great performance against Jordynne Grace here, and that's why I had to put that match at number 1. Alright, I appreciate you guys sticking through with me. I'm very tired right now, and I'm just trying to get this video out for you guys. Sadly, we won't be having any weekly awards this week either. I've decided, I already missed last week. I think we're just going to miss 2 weeks. I'm going to get both the Saturday Night Main Event review and ranking out for you guys, and then this one out for you guys. So that's kind of going to replace the weekly awards, but we will get back to weekly awards next week with no problem, no issues. My schedule's good for next week. I will definitely be able to get that out for you guys. But if you did enjoy this video, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. If you want to see the Saturday Night Main Event version of this video, then you can go check that one out. That one will also be up. And then I want you to subscribe for me so you can never miss any content that I'm going to be uploading in the near future. Lots of wrestling content coming your way. So like I said, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, ring the bell if you want to be notified whenever I post a video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces. I'm just kidding. Peace.
This happened if I had real tough love, I'm bad at this, and I'm bad for this.
Narcissistic tendencies, I don't care about no one else. Narcissistic tendencies, I'm low, so set me on the shelf. Few people ever have my back, yeah, there ain't no doubt about that.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Welcome back to another video at Axe Entertainment. I'm your host, Zach. Either way, but, and then coming at number 4, yeah. This match I was excited for because now this was a match I was excited for because I did it again. Very so often. There we go. I kept forgetting and that just makes him seem like such an underdog, makes him seem like such a, you know, a great baby face to get behind. And I'm super excited to see what they do with Miles. I almost said Miles Teller. I'm really excited to see what they do with Miles Bourne going forward, and I'm excited to see the next feud ring get. Oh my god, I can't stop messing up. We had I've watched my week. Yep. And they gave Trick Williams with the TNA World Champion with the TNA president sitting ringside. They gave Trick Williams the NXT. God damn it! Oh shit! Just because the match comes in at number 1 doesn't mean it's perfect, but a lot of the matches here are dang near perfect. Dang near. Okay. There's 6 matches, and we're gonna start ranking them right now. Ranking them. So they had 6 really good matches. Oh my